I mean, everyone can go to Disney World and buy a ticket or whatever, but it's these other things that they're not able to grasp on their own. Like they can't go ride along in a race car. It's these one of a kind experiences that they might not want to pay for themselves, but they would love to win it.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Racer on Demand show. I am Megan with my amazing co host, Amanda. And
Hi.
today we've got a really special guest. We have Jackie Donahue, who I have had the pleasure to know for quite a few years. She is the group marketing manager for Aftermarket at Niterra North America, which in the racing world is the NGK Spark Plugs. And wasn't it last year that you guys had rebranded, or 2 years ago?
2 years. Yep.
2 years. Yep. So yeah, well, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
So just to kick things off, when it comes to, how you guys work with racers in motorsports and really kind of, I know you guys work with other types of athletes as well too, but can you just tell us overall basics, your marketing strategy and how you leverage motorsports and athletes for NGK Spark Plugs in Niterra?
Yeah. It's actually, so I've worked at Niterra for 9 years, and since the time that I started till now, it's actually a whole different way that we use motorsports. Like when I first started, we were doing the bring customers to races. This was pre-COVID. We
Yeah.
sponsored a lot of race teams with plugs. And mostly the motivation was like, oh, put a sticker on the car, do 2 social posts, and basically that was all that's required, like, 2 social posts per month. That was what was required for teams, and then we took, you know, loads of customers to different events that we sponsored.
Mhm.
Pr Now that COVID passed and all that happened, we kind of market a little bit different than we did pre-COVID. I guess COVID, uh, there are a lot of things that happened during COVID that we realized that, wow, maybe we were spending a ton of money that we didn't need to spend. So we had to like readjust the funding that we had because during COVID,
Mhm.
we were still selling a ton of spark plugs without marketing. And that was kind of, I guess,
Mm.
eye opening to like my bosses. They were like, wow, we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on sponsorship, but yet during COVID, we didn't. And we didn't see any drop in sales.
Hmm.
So that sort of
Interesting.
changed minds of a lot of the folks that, were controlling the funds here, and they were saying, "Well, do you really need to go to NHRA events, and do you really need to sponsor all of these people?" Um, and so we had to take a look at that and think, "Okay, how are we gonna adjust that?" Because we still wanna be visible there, but we have to spend the money differently, and
Mhm.
so a lot of that changed with the teams, like, of course, we want the decal on the car because that's what gets seen, so obviously that's a given, but the the content and the way that the race teams talk about the product became more valuable than just slapping the sticker on the car. And we're a small team, marketing team internally, and I definitely cannot do all of the things that we need to do alone with a team of 5. So we rely on teams specifically to churn out content, especially about authentically talking about using our products, because
Mhm.
that's what I feel like influences sales is like, oh, Megan is using, our spark plugs on her car and she's winning. And so that tells a better story than me just, doing uh a video on spark plugs in our shop.
Mhm.
So it's I guess, is a balance because we obviously we do some of that content as well, but we have to have the people who are actually using the product because those are the people who are buying the product trust. So, I mean, there's a balance of both. So we kinda do a little bit of both, but when after COVID, like I said, we had to when we took those funds, we had to put them in a different spot. So, a lot of those teams now, we use different funds that we use for, like, customers, and so those customers that we want to sell more product, we have funds that we give to those customers, like they're called co-op funds, or we
Mhm.
call them not co-op anymore, they're called marketing partnership funds. So
Yeah.
those marketing partnership funds are available to certain customers that, depending on how much they sell of our product, those funds are available to use to help sell the product. So we've used it for some of those customers have their own marketing programs. Like, for instance, one of our customers just Federated. They do a lot of motorsports marketing. They do a lot of dirt car racing, and they have some of their own programs set up. And sometimes we just allocate money to programs that they already have set up. And then we've also worked with customers where maybe they don't have anything set up and they have this sum of money and they're wondering how they can run a promotion, or how they can get involved in motorsports because they're not currently involved in motorsports, and we have helped them with folks that we've worked with, folks that we work with currently. So maybe, like, for instance, like, Megan, if you were like, oh, I had a customer and I was like, hey, you guys want to get involved with Megan, and we'll take $15,000 of our co-op funds, and then we'll co-brand Megan's car with our name and, like, X brand, or
Yeah.
X customer, and we've done that. We do one right now with, Parts Authority, and we were sponsoring Jeff Sprague. He's a fisherman, so this is not motorsports, this is a little bit different, but we didn't have the funds to sponsor him by ourselves. They wanted to go a different route with him, but with Parts Authority, we went to Parts Authority and said, "Hey, you guys wanna do this joint partnership, and we'll use the marketing partnership funds to sponsor Jeff, and then we'll use that to market our product and to get people to go to Parts Authority to buy NGK product." And it's been
Mhm.
working out great. We've done that for this is, like, the 3rd year that we've sponsored Jeff through Parts Authority. So there's
Awesome.
those opportunities.
Yeah. We had something similar. So our race team is heavily sponsored by Nexen Tire, and they also
Okay.
do they don't call them co-op funds. I don't even remember what they call them, but basically like marketing partnerships with the distributors
Yeah.
of Nexen Tire. And Chris was out at a K&M trade show, which is one of their distributors, back at the beginning of this year. I think it was January. Yeah. And we had been talking to them about launching like a ride along incentive program. So whoever bought the most Nexen tires through K&M as a distributor could win this ride along experience that we were offering. So it was a really interesting way to be able to dive into a different part of the budget because Nexen didn't have that budget allocated, but
Yeah.
they did have those marketing dollars, through K&M's partnership. So it's really interesting to be able to look at those different buckets and how you can start to pull from those. I'm curious, like, how do you determine the eligibility for co-op funding or marketing partnership dollars? And, is that only for large retailers and distributors, or can race teams, shops, those smaller businesses participate in those programs too?
Yeah, so the way that our marketing partnership funds, they're allocated to certain customers, so it wouldn't be for small shops. It would be, like, certain customers of ours, they qualify for it, so it'd just be those customers.
Mhm.
But the way that a team could integrate into that would be, okay, so like, for ours, it's all been sort of I don't wanna say it's kinda been spontaneous, like, there was a need and, like, oh, something fell into place and then it worked. Like, it
Yeah.
just happened. But it wasn't like I haven't been strategizing, like, with a calendar saying, "Okay, X, Y, and Z have these funds available," and I haven't been plugging people into it. It just happened to be like, like, so, say, for instance, like, we have a customer that's like, "Oh, we wanna run a promotion," and then we're thinking about it at that time, like, what could we do to drive sales? Most of the things that we do to drive sales would be, like you were saying, where we have, there's an opportunity to have an incentive where, you know, you could have a ride along, or you could go to an event and be a VIP for the day. And
Yeah.
then we can run a promotion around it for, 2 months with, like, that customer that says, "Hey," and it could be for their counter people or it could be for their customer. It could be like, "Well, if the customer buys X amount of ignition coils during this time period, they would qualify for an entry and then they could possibly win this trip." And that could drive sales because I can measure that,
Yeah.
and that's something I could easily get, you know, our customer and then, the people I need to get approval here on board with. Um, I don't do a ton. I mean, besides the one for Jeff Sprague, he does promotions and then he also does I know he does a lot of content for Parts Authority.
Yeah.
Um, I don't do a lot of um sponsorship where we're just sponsoring for content. I don't I don't know why. Just most of it's been mostly centered around like your things you're talking about, like incentives. Like it's been to drive some type of promotion.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think you mentioned, that's something that you can measure is the
yeah,
sales. And I think ultimately, marketing is a sales function. And if you can't draw it back to sales easily, then
yeah.
it's hard to justify that spend. So
And
that
it
makes
seems like that's
sense.
lately what's been happening, right? I don't know with you guys too. It's just everything's been like, okay, how are you going to help me move X amount of product out of here?
Hmm.
I know that's for us. That's how it is, but I'm sure it is for a lot of different automotive suppliers for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Have you seen anything that, like, really stands out to help with the sales and move product more? Or is it just kind of like is there, like, a certain incentive or certain type of, like,
Yeah,
promotion or, like, advertising you've done?
I always ask the customers this. I'm like, because it seems like it's different for every customer, but I'm always like, what motivates your salespeople to sell more, or
Yeah.
what do your customers look for? Like, what are some of the promotions that have been like super popular or really successful? A lot of them have been mostly they tell me is like these experiences they can't get on their own, right? So they
Yeah.
can't
Mm,
just like I mean, everyone can go to Disney World and buy a ticket or whatever, but it's these other things that they're not able to grasp on their own. Like they can't go ride along in a race car, in
yeah.
specific race cars. It's just not possible unless they know somebody or what have you, but it's these one of a kind experiences that they might not wanna pay for themselves, but they would love to get, as
Yeah.
to win it. So anything like that, it's mostly that kinda stuff. And it's funny because, I told you we stopped doing, like, customer events. And that the customer events were dear to my heart. I know they were expensive to do, um, but honestly, those customer events are what our customers talk about every time I see them, like, year after year.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, remember when we went to Charlotte and, we got to, we were in your suite," and those are the things they always bring up because they
Yeah.
always remember those things. And I've been trying my hardest to get them to come back. I would keep telling the folks here like, "Oh, we should bring a customer trip back because it I mean, we were lucky.
Yeah.
We were doing them twice a year. No, more than twice a year. Because when we were involved with NASCAR, we were doing them, like, for every NASCAR race in Charlotte. So there were, I think, 2 or 3 there, and then we did the drag races there. So we were doing, like, 5 or so customer trips a year, and
Yeah.
then we were bringing, like, 30 customers down, but those are the ones that people talk about.
Yeah.
They were just like, "Oh, that was so fun, and remember I got to bring my wife," or sometimes they brought their son or daughter, um,
Yeah. Mhm.
and I know,
Yeah.
like, obviously, things change, and we had to pivot a little bit on that, but I keep bringing them wanting to bring at least one back. Like, we should have, like and maybe, like, I keep saying, like, it could be an incentive, like, what if we do something with, a big customer like Factory Motor Parts, and we do like a coil incentive where we have like, their 10 top customers who spend X amount of dollars, they get, they get to come with a plus one to drag race. And we put it on just like we used to do. I don't think that's off the off the table. I
Yeah.
just been able to try to put it together. But like those types of things I think are what people remember.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
remember the rental car race that we did. That
Yeah,
was still, like, one of the most fun experiences we've ever had, and I can't imagine how expensive that was because we had, like, half a dozen Camrys that
yeah.
you rented.
Wait, tell
And
me about
it's
It's
like
the
this.
most fun.
yeah, so they brought, I don't know, maybe 30 customers or something, and so it was, like, the day before the big NHRA race started, and we were at the Charlotte track, and, the NHRA guys also like, I don't know if you had to maybe pay any extra to get the track before the race,
Well,
but
it was
so we
all
did it.
included. Yeah,
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, so
yeah,
we did a drag race, and I think for a lot of the people, like, it was their first time, like, even being at a drag race or going down a
yeah.
drag strip. So we had Camry, rental cars. So we were all, like, supposed to be on, like, an even playing field.
Yes.
But I think there was, like, 1 or 2 that were maybe, like, an upgraded version, so they were a little bit faster. So everyone was like, "I want that car." But yeah, so it was cool because like, there's me and a couple other racers that were trying to, like, explain to him, "Okay, this is how you stage. This is when, you wanna go, but we need to, like, rev it up a little bit because we don't want it to just spin the tires when you take out," and we were going 8th mile. But yeah, so they got to race down the track, race against me, and then we started off, like, in a bracket and then, worked our way up to a winner,
Yes.
and, I don't remember who ended up winning, but yeah, it was so cool, and then we had, like, little trophies for them, and then we went up to the suite and had dinner, and yeah, it was just so much fun.
What
Yeah,
a
those are the
great
things that people
experience.
remember.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
because
and
it makes them part
we
of it.
had
Yep.
yeah, I also remember we had the shirts, so we had a red team and a green team, so NGK and NTK teams, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. A lot of the relationships that, our I mean, our salespeople will still say it all day long, but a lot of the relationships that they tried to build with their customer, to be, have a more trusting relationship, be, just to build it happened at those races. They would get their customers there and they would have like 3 days of time where they got to actually hang out with these people for multiple days, and that's how, like, I mean, unfortunately, that's how some of the our sales grew from that, just because of those 3 days that they, hung out with these people. That's how you build relationships, and honestly, the in the aftermarket, I feel like a lot of this is built on relationships. I go to these shows and it's just like, you know, all these people who know each other and,
Mhm.
just they have like, some type of history with them and they feel, safe, ordering from these people and stuff. It's all about that.
Yeah, I feel like
So,
all sales, all
yeah,
marketing, everything is about relationships with the
exactly.
customers, with the racers, with the
Mhm.
companies. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, 'cause you're always going to want to go back to people you feel comfortable with, right?
Yeah.
Like if for me, it's funny because, like, when we do when I do sponsorships or, like, say things come up, that I need, a lot of times it's timing for me because I'm just so busy, and then someone will just, like, someone who has been calling on me for, like, months, and they just keep, checking in with me like, "Oh, okay, so then maybe there's not an opportunity for them now." But I wanna say this, like, for racers. Like, you know, in the past, we used to, like I said, sponsor tons of race teams, and then it kind of got smaller and smaller. So, like this year, I think we sponsored like 30 race teams, and those people that didn't get picked in it, unfortunately, the ones that keep following up with me and staying in front of me, those are the ones I remember. And then next year, unfortunately, that's the ones I go, "Oh, yeah, this guy, he checked in with me, like, 100 times, and now
Yeah.
I'll remember that," and then most likely they're gonna get looked at next year. And then there's, like, just people who just they submit their application, and then I never hear from them again. But I'm telling you, if you stay in front of me or you send me an email once in a while, I remember that all year, and then that's more likely for people to get 'cause, we get 800 applications, and honestly, probably 600 of them. They're all about the same. There's nothing that's really
Mm.
Yes.
different or makes them stand out. What makes them stand out is that they probably I remember them because they emailed me like 5 times throughout the year to let me know what they were doing, or they
Mhm.
tag us on social. They don't have to, but they just do it. So there's just staying in front of us, and then they're just memorable, right? So then I just remember, "Oh, yeah, that was that guy," and they were super nice, and they sent me, their race, like, what they were doing and how they did all year, and I remember that. And then
Mhm.
I go, "Oh, yeah, I'm probably gonna sponsor that guy next year."
Mhm.
So and then I just forget about the people who just check in once a year, right?
Yeah. Well, in a
They
way,
just
that's kind of proof of performance too, right? Like, you get
right?
to kinda know their product before you're buying it too.
Yeah. And that's true. Like, you get this application, right? You're trying to make decisions on 800 people, and all you're doing is, looking at their application, go out to their website, and you're just getting a glimpse of it for, like, a minute, right? So you're like, "Oh, yeah, that's what they're doing, blah, blah, blah." But like you're saying, if you're checking in with me all the time, I'm seeing it all year, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that guy's doing a good job," or "That gal's doing a good job," or what have you, and then it just takes you from the bottom of the list to the top of the list, you know?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's just
Yeah.
how it works just with seeing so many, and it's
Yeah.
funny because this past year I had typically, I'm usually the person who's checking all the applications, but this year, I had Ashley, who works with me, do it, and she has, like, no clue
Mm.
on any motorsports. So she was looking at it from fresh eyes. She was looking at it strictly at a, social perspective, like, she was just going
Mhm.
on social and looking at it, and I'll tell you what, she came back and she cut a ton of people that we've been working with for years because she said their social was atrocious or they
Mm.
didn't do it, you know? And it was kinda like, "Oh, dang," like and shame on me because I'm not always like, you know, I don't have the time to check in on every little thing. But yeah, I mean, I was like, just from a social perspective and a content perspective and what they should be doing, rate it. And she came back and was like, she had she had marked off all these people. I was like, oh crap, those are people we sponsored for like 10 years. Like, well, they're not doing anything. And I'm like, so we had to make some hard decisions this year. I
Yeah.
sent out some emails like, you guys gotta like, step it up you know, or we just said it's not gonna work this year. We have to
Yeah.
cut you guys. But yeah, because they weren't doing even the bare minimum of what was required on the contract.
Mhm.
So it was kinda good that I had her do that, you know? Because you just become you don't see it anymore because I'm like, "Oh, they it's so and so," and they just kinda got lazy and they didn't do anything, but I wasn't noticing it because I was just kinda like, "Oh, they're the people we've always sponsored for
Yeah.
Mhm.
X amount of years," but it wasn't fair for them to be not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then
Yeah.
you got all these other people that would do, they're like, would do anything to get to be sponsored, and it just wasn't fair.
Yeah,
So,
especially
yeah,
when you're allocating funds towards something that's not actually moving the needle for your brand too.
right. Exactly. Yeah, so, I mean, I guess every company's kinda gotta do, a little deep dive on that and just check. I mean, we did that, like, when I first started here, we had to do that as well because we had a lot of teams that we found out, and I don't think people were really watching it, is that, they weren't even racing anymore, but they were still getting
Oh.
free product.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was when I first started at NGK. There was all these people just would send in a thing like, "Oh, send me X amount of product." We didn't they weren't even racing, which
Oh my
that was
gosh.
crazy. That was a lot of cleanup. Um, I don't really know what happened with that. That was just I guess the program was so big they weren't checking all of that, but
Right.
yeah.
Yes.
Luckily, we got past all that, and I mean, people always say that. They're like, "Oh, well, you had people doing that." I'm like, "Yeah, but not anymore. It's not like
Yeah.
we're definitely not sponsoring anybody who, isn't racing."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's just common sense.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, everything evolves. So it sounds like they need to be on social and post consistently and then following up consistently. Is there anything else that you look for?
I mean, I'm always looking for people doing different things. But I would say the most thing, I mean, is the consistency because you'll get like people who, oh, and a lot of people, and I know you talked about this, Megan. There's like, because I try to give people pointers when they ask me like why they didn't get sponsored. So some people will
Mhm.
have like a personal social page, and then they'll kind of it'll kind of be more their personal and their racing page, and sometimes that works, and sometimes I think that doesn't work because might have, things in there that you don't really want a brand might not really want to be associated with on your personal page.
Yeah.
So, I always tell them, if you're doing a racing page, or you're racing, you should have a separate social for racing, and then just keep it all about racing, because we've had some folks that had other subject matter on there that we had to say, and yeah, we can't be involved with that because we don't want to have our name out there when you're talking about whatever it is that you're talking about. So I always tell people you got to keep it separate. But basically, I would say like the checking in, like just letting us know what you're doing. Like even like when you win, that's awesome. That's something I want to share. I get people who don't even tell me when they win. And that's crazy. Like, like, there's some people who are very consistent, tell me, like they'll tell me if they win or lose every week. They send me on Monday morning, I get an email that tells me, like, how everything went, or I'll get it, like, at the month end, and they'll tell me, like, all the things. Some people I don't even hear from at all, and even when they win, I'm like, I'll happen to be on Facebook or, Instagram scrolling through there, and I'll see that they won. I'm like, "Dang it." I'd love to repost that. We have a social following that's pretty big. We love to repost all that kinda stuff. But, yeah, some people just don't even tell us.
Ah, what a lost
It's
opportunity.
crazy. If I was
Yeah.
winning, I would be bragging it up to everybody,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm curious, how do you measure the value of motorsports marketing compared to the other forms of advertising that you do? And what makes the racing sponsorships worth continuing year after year? How do you measure that success?
I mean, it's hard because a lot of the motorsport stuff, there is no measurement on it unless I can tie it to a promotion or what have you, but the way that I measure it, like, okay, so just for example, we had our 60-year anniversary, it's this year, and we just had the
Yay.
event over the weekend. And obviously there's a lot of things that made Niterra successful for 60 years. And what I found out, it's funny, is when we had our event, what they wanted for the event to show were all these different teams that we worked with to say, to do a congratulatory video, because that's what people wanna see, right? No one's
Yeah.
gonna remember a promotion that I did with a customer that sold more coils. Obviously, that's important, but, like, the things that are memorable are these things with the motorsports, like,
Yeah.
people, that's what they wanna see, all the stars and all the people who are winning and the people on the track and all that. So there is value, there's, like, it's visibility for that, it's the memorability of that, I guess.
Yeah.
It's hard to say like, "Oh, can I measure it?" It's the measuring is I don't know how to explain it. It's like,
It's the, like,
even though they
intangible.
yeah, it's like they wanna say, "Oh, we don't need to do motorsports," but then they always go back to it. Like, "Oh, do we have any tickets for anything? Oh, do we still sponsor anybody?" Like, it always comes back to that, and then I'm always like, "Oh, well, remember we pulled back on that? Oh, remember we don't have tickets for that?" But they always go back to that
Yeah.
every single time. So it's like they've tried to get out of it. They've tried to think, "Oh, well, we don't need to be in motorsports. We don't really need to be there or do this and that." But we always get pulled back because it's the most visibility.
Yeah.
It's the thing that people remember, like, when people turn on the TV and they see our logo on something, there's something that, in your I guess in your heart, you feel proud of that, like, oh, there's you recognize the NGK on Megan's car when it's going down the track, and you see it on the TV. It's like,
Yeah.
there's that's I don't know how you measure that, but it's brand visibility.
Yeah, and alignment. I feel like your
Yeah.
brand is so strongly aligned in motorsports, it would be weird and out of place for it not to be there.
Yeah. If you don't see it, then, like, my boss is like, "Well, where's our logo at? Why aren't we there?" I think the having the logo in these places shows it validates it, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's saying, like, "We're the best spark plug out there. That's why all these cars are using it." Yeah, I don't can't measure sales from that, but there are definitely sales from that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with marketing that you have to you struggle with all the time because 'cause you're like, "Dang it, I wish how can I measure that?" You just have to just it's just things that you have to do for your brand that you just can't put a number on. But if you don't do it, then you're wondering, "Why aren't we there?" Or people are asking, "Why isn't NGK there? Why aren't they at the track? Why" You're just losing that visibility. And
Mhm.
so I feel like that's why we've never really got out of it because there is value there. So it's kinda you have to do like it's like a thing you gotta kinda balance both. You gotta use that, and then you gotta, turn other things into things that you can measure, like, running promotions with racers or doing other things. It's like a balance of both.
Yeah, well said.
I
I don't
agree.
know. It's hard to explain it, but I feel sometimes I'm so passionate about live events. Like people, it's like you. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you have to do it. It's something that it's a feeling and it's a thing, and if you don't have it, I don't know how to explain it. I wish I knew how to explain it. If I knew how to explain it, I'd probably get more money to do it. But
Yeah.
Right?
but I don't. I don't know how to explain it.
Story of all of our lives,
I
Jackie.
know.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta work on that. I gotta figure out how to explain it.
Yes.
In closing, we always ask our guest one last question, and that's just basically, do you have any piece of advice for our racers that are listening?
Yeah, I would say don't give up. And, like, if you get a no, that doesn't mean the no is forever. That just means maybe the no is because we don't know you. And like I
Mm,
said, if you're picking 25 to 30 people out of 800, it's not nothing personal. It's just that, you know, that's like 670 strangers or what have you that we just don't know. I would say stay in front of it, email me, send us, I know it's extra work, but in a long run, I'll remember you throughout the year and be more likely to pick you out of a group of 800 applications that we get because you stayed in front of me and I'm like, "Oh, and I recognize who you are." And it gives
Mhm.
us visibility, like you said, into what you're doing all year instead of me just, like, looking at a resume and trying to make a decision off of that.
mhm.
Um, but I would say, yeah, don't give up, and then, be consistent. That's the other thing. I'll see a lot of people who just, you know, do social posts for a couple months and then drop off for, like, 6 months.
Mhm.
So, just being consistent, and it doesn't take much if you just, post at least even once a week. That's 52 posts that you wouldn't have had, if you didn't do it at least once a week. Yeah, and then, just what trying to think about things that you can do to be different, with your content. Is there anything, unique that you can do to be fun and engaging on social? I mean, these are all the things you kinda talk about, Megan, like, marketing yourself, your personal brand type of thing. That little bit of work that you do to invest in yourself, it's only will make you better. And not just for me, but, like, other people who wanna you're looking to get sponsored by.
Yeah.
Mhm. Exactly.
Yeah.
For our listeners, can you tell us when does the applications open and where can
Yeah.
they find that at?
So the application opens August 1st, and it's always open that first day on our website. So if you go to ngksparkplugs.com and you go to the About Us tab, there's a racing. You click on racing, and then the application will be live. And then the application is live for 3 months. So it's August, September, October, no, actually 4 months in November, because it closes November 30th. So you got 4 months to fill it out. Because I always get people like, oh, I didn't know. I'm like, yeah, 4 months. 4 months
Yeah.
to fill it out. There's lots of time. I mean, you can just go in this. It's not too hard. It's really quick to do. And then usually we try to get, sometimes we get held up by budget, but typically we try to let people know by, February timeframe, January, February timeframe, if we're able to sponsor.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I think that really does highlight too, like this is not an instantaneous process at any company. This
Yeah.
is something that needs to be budgeted and approved and
And a lot of people like contact us like in March looking for sponsorship. And I try to tell them that, you guys, we're looking at this like at the end of the year.
yeah.
So for the next year, you know, um, January, February is too late. Like we're already like, filling out applications the year prior to that. So I
Yeah.
try to let people know that, but sometimes I forget.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like when you go to, I mean, you guys probably go to the PRI show. We used to exhibit there. We haven't in the last couple of years, but people would come to the PRI show, which was in December, and wanting sponsorship there.
Mhm.
And it was already like, I mean, our application was already technically closed at that point. So it was kind of disheartening to have to tell people, well, we've already, you know, decided sponsorship for the year. And they would be
Yeah.
bummed out because I feel like they felt like that was their time that they were going to go around to all these different companies and, talk to people. And it was probably good the previous year to do that for that year, but
Yeah.
there was just the timing always seemed to be off.
Yeah.
Um,
For the
so
racers listening who have felt that way, we have a whole episode about
yeah,
prepping for PRI.
timing.
So
Yeah.
listen to
Yes.
that way before December.
Yes,
Yes.
for sure. Like we should be reaching out now because this is when people are like either like I said, August is not too far away. It's 2 months. We'll be starting to take applications for 27.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should be prepping now.
Well,
Mhm.
Jackie, it has been awesome having you on. We have learned so much from you. I hope our listeners have learned so much from you. Megan and I are going to take a minute to debrief, but I just wanted to thank
Yeah,
you for
thanks for
taking the
having me.
time this morning to talk to us and to talk to our racers. So,
Thank you so much.
Yes. We appreciate it.
Hopefully I
Thank you,
didn't
Jackie.
ramble too much. Thank you.
no, it was good.
Good. Yeah.
We'll talk to you later,
Okay,
Jackie.
thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.
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 Wow.
Awesome.
She gave us so much good information, and I
Yeah.
am so excited just to I know she didn't have a ton of time, so I thought that you and I could maybe talk through some of the things that she talked about and bring that back to what racers can actually do to turn that into dollars in their pockets.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I love that you had asked how do they measure the motorsports, and she was just like, I mean, she's straight up honest, like it's hard to
It's
measure it
so
because
hard.
yeah, it is intangible. It's all about the experiences, the memories. Yeah, like that rental car race that we did, like that's something I will never forget. And it's so cool because like it's only like they used to come to the races quite a bit because like she said, they did a lot of customer stuff. They used to be a vendor at the drag races, and so they would have a lot of employees there as well.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, really since COVID, they cut back on that. So I really don't see her or any of the other employees from NGK except for when we go to Apex. And that's always like one of the first things that we talk about. It's like, hey, remember when we got to race you? And so it's just so cool. So yeah, I love that like you guys have that two-seater because that's something that like you could use as like a co-op deal and have those experiences and use it as an incentive for your
Yes.
sponsors and like their customers or their employees or their
Yeah.
distributors or whoever they want to use it for. Um, yeah. I just want to make sure that I am in line to get a ride in the Chris's two-seater.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
What she was talking about too, and like what you just brought back up is the live experiences, like they might not be immediately measurable, but they do translate back to sales. So like, okay, a ride in a two-seater or like racing a Camry, like you're not gonna forget that. You're going to have a much more positive, experience with that brand and a much more positive thought about that brand when you go to like, hey, oh, I need spark plugs. You know what? I'm gonna get NGK because I've got a really good experience with this brand. You
Mhm.
know, and she talked initially about how when they cut the funding during COVID and they didn't see a sales decrease. And part of me wonders if it's, like, lagging, right? You have, leading indicators and lagging indicators on whether something is working, and I feel like, that positive experience that you have from an experience or, like, this, alignment with a brand that you really like, with a racer that you really like or something, like, those kinds of intangible benefits, they're long lasting, and so I feel like if you immediately defund
Yeah.
it, like she was talking about in COVID, where a light switch just happened and you just weren't doing motorsports anymore, right? So, like, that doesn't necessarily turn off the emotion that came from what you had already been doing, right?
Mhm.
And so I
Yeah,
think
that's
that's
true.
something to, like, think about, though, when you're creating those experiences, like, you're not just selling a single year of influence, you're selling that experience that sits with somebody for a really long time.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true, and that reminds me of, like, earlier when we got to go to Talladega with Dave and, a couple of the guys from Blaster and Gunk,
Yeah.
and they were telling us about, like, this VIP experience that we got to be a part of is something that, like, spectators, like, people that attend races, like, they literally cannot pay for this experience to be in the infield and go to the race trailers and be in the garage. Like, it was so cool, like, to be standing literally right next to the car, like, while the crew's warming it up.
Yeah.
And they were very strict about what we could get pictures and videos of and what we
Oh, yeah.
couldn't. Even though a lot of stuff was covered, it was still like, "Hey, you can't get a you can't get a video of this." But yeah, they're like, we were talking to, some of the salesmen that work for the team, and their job is just to get sponsors, but they have, like, a
Yeah.
whole sales team that does it, and they were saying that even if a fan had $1,000,000, they couldn't buy this experience, like, it's only available if they sponsor the car.
Mhm.
And, yeah, it's very interesting to hear, like, it's like, having those experiences and those events and that VIP access and something that yeah, it's not part of the regular race is, like I feel like, yeah, that's kind of where racers, like, we need to get creative of, like, how can we build a whole experience around this and
Yes.
and sell that instead of trying to sell another spot on the car or to sell, this is how many people attend races or this is how many views I get on my socials. Like, yeah, what's like a
Yes.
memorable experience that we can do? And I think I talked about it on the last episode about, like, just when I went to Crandon, like, all the cool things that you could do there. And I
Mhm.
know that, like, that was kinda just, like, regular fan stuff, but, like, that's stuff that, like, even though I didn't participate it, like, I'm still gonna remember that. And
Yeah.
just, like, those vendors, like, having those experiences, yeah, I feel like that's where they're gonna get that loyalty and longevity with their customers.
Yes. And it does not have to be complicated. Like, I feel like we've
Yeah.
talked about a lot of things like, okay, we have a promotional two-seater truck. That's a pretty big expenditure, right? But like you don't need to have that. You don't need to be able to buy like a club suite for $100,000. Although I will say, like, you can sell things that you can't afford on your own also. So, you could say, "Hey, I will put you up in this club suite. It's going to be, this experience," and talk to the tracks, figure out what's included in those things, figure out what it's going to cost you, and then put a price tag on it that's bigger than that. and sell it to your sponsor, because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if your racing budget is $50,000, but that suite is $150,000, right? Sell it to a partner for $200,000, and then now you've got an extra $50,000 for your program. Plus, they've got the
Mhm.
B2B benefits of being able to bring in their customers and have somewhere to do this and say, that's the car that we sponsor out there on the track, right? And like one of the things that we have leveraged is, I mean, I'm going to put this in very loose quotes, a VIP experience, but just like relationship building and giving our sponsors an experience that they otherwise wouldn't have at the track is our chili cook-off at Crandon. And
Yeah.
it's so low
Like, so
key.
many people tell me about that.
It is so low key. But every fall Crandon, every Labor Day weekend, every Friday after the Beatles race, we always have a chili cook-off, and we invite people to bring pots of chili and come and taste test and vote. And it's like 100 people show up. You know, it's not like crazy. It's not this high production thing, but like last year we had a couple
So
of brands step on to like provide prizes to our podiums
yeah.
and we invited our partners to be there. You know, we invited them to come eat chili and mingle with the racers. And, you know, like we end up with people from all over the US, and now they're getting an experience with a brand that maybe they wouldn't have seen otherwise. And, you know, we don't have to think in these really huge terms to be able to create an experience. Even like,
Mhm.
what does a skybox cost at your local race? You might be surprised. Like, we were incredibly surprised at what it cost to get a skybox at Crandon. It is
Mm.
way less than what is in your mind right now. If you're thinking of a number, I promise it's probably less than half of that.
Okay.
And, you know, it's like,
Interesting.
you know, start talking about like what is an experience that I could build for my partners or for my partner's customers or for my partner's
Mhm.
partners, you know, and be thinking
Mhm.
a little bit more like that than like just what
Yeah.
is a deliverable that I could give to my
Mhm.
partner.
Mhm.
That was a big takeaway, I think, from
Mhm.
listening to Jackie talk, is just about those live experiences and what kind of an impact they have on her audience.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's such a bummer that they don't really do it that much anymore. Because I know, they were going all in, like, not just drag racing, they were going all in with drifting. Like she said, they sponsor, like, fishermen and stuff. So,
Yeah.
like, there was a time there, you know, 5, 6 years ago where they were just everywhere, and it was so cool that we got to be a small part of that. So I think maybe we can kind of, you know, get them to come back and do a little bit more of that, because yeah,
Yeah.
it is such a memorable thing to do. But yeah, I don't know, that's kind of, I guess, one of the, not like a headache, but just something when you work at such a big corporation. Like Niterra is huge,
Yeah.
and, I mean, yeah, and they're based out of Japan, so I don't know how hard it is to kind of, be on 2 completely different continents and try to get on the same page with marketing things
Yes.
like that. Um,
We
but
run
yeah,
into
I
that
mean,
with Nexon too. Like there's even just
yeah,
a cultural difference, you know,
yeah,
what works to sell in Korea is very different than what works to sell in the US, and
yeah,
sometimes pitching a US marketing strategy to a Korean executive can
mm,
be really challenging.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's so true. So
Yeah.
true, but
Okay, so there was one
yeah,
other thing that Jackie said that I was like, I don't know if I agree with that. And I'm really curious what your stance is on it.
okay.
She said that they recommend that racers have a separate personal and a separate racing page where they only just talk about the racing on the racing page.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like, I totally, like, I know what she's talking about, because, again, like, trying to think back to, kind of when they were really big. There's also, a lot going on politically,
Mhm.
culturally, economically. So, I know she's talking about kind of more personal stuff like that, that people were having a very strong stance on that, yeah,
Yeah.
didn't align with their brand. So I understand that part, but I think we do still need to keep some personal stuff on the racing page just because, like what we always talk about, like that's how you build your personal brand. That's how people get to know who you are, your personality. Like, yeah, you can post racing pictures and videos all day, every day. But if they don't see who you are, or get to know who the driver is, then
Yeah.
there's going to be that lack of connection. But yeah, I agree. Like you don't take it too far, but
Yes.
there's still a line there to not cross and not treating it like your personal diary. But yeah, you still need some personal stuff on there, which I feel like I have tried to do more personal stuff on my racing pages this year, like sharing more about our family, like about Henry,
Yeah.
our
I love
hobbies.
that,
Because
by the way.
well, thank
It
you, thanks. Well, and, like, honestly, like, I have had such a slow start, like, we're in June now. I've only done 1 race the first half of this year, and, like, usually like, my dad's already, like, a third of the way done with his season, like, you guys have already done a couple rounds, your next race is coming up this weekend. My first drag race of the year is this weekend, which it was gonna
Yay.
be Memorial Day weekend, but that got canceled. So I've just
Yes.
had like, I haven't really had much racing opportunities to like get content. And I mean, like I was telling you, like the race cars, like the dragsters aren't even at home. So like I can't even do anything with that. So yeah, so like I really like if I want to be consistent and keep posting, like I do just need to do more personal stuff because that is what I'm doing every day.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad that I wasn't alone because I was feeling very much the same way about like, oh, I feel like if we only post about racing stuff, we're really gonna lose our audience, you know? And okay, so this might seem a little off base, but have you seen the videos of the woman who is currently in the middle of rowing from California to Hawaii on her own?
No,
Okay.
I have
So
not seen that.
there's a woman who every single one of her videos is at like 2 million views right now. God, what's her name? I think it's like Kelsey something. She's currently in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and she has been one post
Like
a day
by
giving us
herself.
by herself. She's
That's
trying to
insane.
be the first American woman to row solo from the coast of California to Hawaii.
Wow.
And uh
Yeah, you'll have to send it to me.
Yeah, Kelsey Fendler, it's Pfendler.
Okay.
Um, so she posts once a day and she's clearly got like a social media person or team like back at home that's like writing out the captions because the captions
Mm,
are in third persons. Like Kelsey's currently here, but here's an
okay.
update from her on her boat, right? But as she's posting, she is not just saying like I rode from here to here today. You know, she's saying things like here's what I eat while I'm on the boat or like this is how I packed 90 days worth of food with me or here's what the inside of my cabin looks like or like this is what I have to do in order to get the barnacles off the bottom of my boat while I'm rowing and stuff and like, the things that she is talking about are they're really personal, but they tie back to what she's doing, and it makes us follow her as a person and as a human being, not just, like, because she's rowing across the ocean, but because she's opening up and getting really personal about it too, you know?
Yeah, that wow. That's interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely have to go look her up. That's so cool. Well, okay, so that kind of reminds me of I don't remember her name either, but it was someone that was doing the Olympics, and I don't remember what sport. Maybe what's the one where they ride in like the sled? Is that bobsledding
Oh,
or
either, like, bobsledding or are you talking about luge, like, where they're on the ice kind of
yeah, I think
slide?
luge.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't really I don't really know. I didn't really watch the Olympics, but
Yeah.
I was seeing posts from this woman and but yeah, like kind of like same thing like she was sharing some personal stuff and she was sharing about how like she's a mom and trying to um like, trying to just, like, be a good role model for her kids, and,
Yeah.
like, I, like, resonated with that, and so it was cool to kinda see, like, her personal journey, well, like, while she's competing in the Olympics, and, I know she medaled. I don't remember, like, what position,
Yeah.
she finished, but, yeah, like, that was really cool, and, like, I still follow her to this day.
See, I love that too because, like, when I'm talking about, like, Kelsey rowing across the ocean or, the Olympian, like, we're not talking about what they're doing in that sport or in the activity that they're doing. What we're talking about is how we're connecting to them as people, and I think racers can really take that back and say, "It doesn't matter if I race a light buggy or a Pro 4. What matters is if I connect to people, or like it doesn't matter if I'm in a 4-cylinder circle track car or if I'm in a 410 sprint car. Like, as long as I'm connecting with people and I'm showing people something that they wouldn't otherwise be able to see, which again, I think comes right back to those live events that we were talking about, right? What did Jackie say was most impactful for her customers, for her distributors and whatnot, was something that they couldn't buy no matter what money they had, right? And we have such opportunity to deliver that as racers. We have the opportunity to give people a peek behind the scenes of something that they couldn't buy. They just don't have the connections. They don't have the know-how, or maybe they don't even have the desire, right? Like, I don't care to row across the ocean, but I'm really curious about the autopilot, or like, I don't have the desire to do that, but how does she poop? Like, those are the things that I'm very curious about when I'm scrolling through Facebook, but that's how we really make an impact. Because you know what? If Kelsey turned around today and like she's, I don't know, on day like 23 right now, and I've been following her since like day 3, I think is when she popped up. But if she turned around and said, what's been really helpful is this brand of sunscreen this whole time. Did you know that it's reef safe and it has been protecting me while I'm out in the elements? Like, I would probably really consider that sunscreen because like I've connected with her as a human and I trust that she's not just selling me some BS, right?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, and that's also, like, a great way to just organically and, like, naturally plug in your sponsors, like, instead of it just
Mhm.
being like, "Here's a straight up promotional post, and go check out this brand of sunscreen,"
Yes.
yeah, why why does she use it? Why would it help us out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, or she's, like, unpacking her snacks, and she's like, I really like licorice," and she pulls out licorice, right? Like, "Oh, you know what? I really
Yeah.
like licorice too, so I'm gonna give that brand a try. I've never tried it before," you
Uh-huh.
know?
Yeah, well, and that kind of relays, like, I know you guys do your surveys, and it's
Mhm.
like, how loyal are you to, like, the partners that work with our race team, and how often, or what's the word I'm looking for? Like, switching the brands to the ones that do support you. And
Yes,
I think
conversion.
also, yeah, conversion. Thank you. Um, but also, like, kind of, like, going back to, like, the content and stuff, like, just I feel like social media has changed so much, especially since COVID, before that, it was it was very easy to, like, grow on socials because there wasn't a whole lot of traffic, or, like, not there wasn't a whole lot of noise on there, whereas now, like,
Yeah.
everybody has 5 different accounts, like, and, there's an account for your pets, and, like, everything is just promotional now, so
Yeah.
the storytelling posts and the ones that aren't, like, a straight up promotion, I feel like that racers need to kinda get more into, like, a storytelling mode, and I know
Mhm.
it's hard, like, it takes more work, and I struggle with that too because I know it's like, this is what I should be doing, like, I see it working for other people,
Yeah.
but it is harder because it's like my default mode is like, "Hey, here's why we use this spark plug, and this spark plug helps us win races," and it's like,
Yes.
yeah, it's like, okay, like, how could I reframe this to kind of, yeah, be more organic, be more like a story,
Yeah.
and, yeah, something that could resonate more with the audience. Because yeah, I think, like, yeah, it's just things are evolving, and, yeah, I mean, like, social media is so hard nowadays because 'cause
Yeah.
you've got point 0.3 of a second to get someone's attention and get them to watch a reel.
Well, and
And
because it is a
yeah,
marketing channel, right? Like people
yeah.
recognize now that it is a marketing channel, so they're scrolling past commercials. And to your point, to be able to like get a sponsorship message across without feeling like a salesperson, you're right. Like a narrative, a story really is necessary. But if that's the only time that you're using that format and you're not using storytelling about what you do or like being educational about your own content, then even just that flip to a different format is going to feel like a commercial.
Mhm,
So, like,
mhm.
you
Yeah,
have to
that's
have
true.
better content all the way around in order for your sponsorship messages to really stick.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. I know you've got to get Henry to school.
Yeah,
But
before he runs back in here.
yeah, before you have to use a mom voice.
Yeah. Get the paddle out.
Yeah. Oh, right. The dog kennel. No,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, this was a really good episode. I loved that we were able to have Jackie on, and yeah, she always has some really good topics, and she's just yeah, I love how honest she is, and
yeah,
she's real.
she's not
So
gatekeeping. Yeah, that's what I
yeah.
really loved. There was no gatekeeping at all. She was so open about like her marketing strategies and about the challenges too, which I think that transparency really helps racers to navigate around those challenges
Mhm.
too. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully the listeners get some ideas of some creative ways how they could work with partners they have or potential partners, and if they could maybe dip into those co-op funds, and yeah, how they could get creative with things like a skybox or a race before the race starts or a ride along or any other type of experience that everyone's gonna remember for the next 20 years.
yes, 100% agree. So, to our listeners, thank you again for being here. We're always so excited to have you here. We will see you in another 2 weeks. And until then, we love you. Bye.
Bye.